Hey guys, welcome back to another That Car Dude video, and today we're back again with the My Team career mode. If you did miss the last episode in Bahrain, make sure to go check that out. It was a very good race. We pushed the most we could there, put everything out on the track, but didn't come up with the best result. But anyway, straight away we are going to upgrade one of our headquarters here, as I promised in the last video. Now that we've got the money here, so we're going to go for our aerodynamics department now. As you know, I've been struggling a lot with understeer and front end grip, so we're going to make sure that our parts that ever come in for aerodynamics, it seems like, will not fail by buying the quality control upgrade here that will come in for the 28th of March. It will come in actually before the Grand Prix here, but as we go then into our R&D's tree, you can see that the only one that's finished now is powertrain here. We got the upgrade that we wanted, but now we're going to want this major fuel efficiency here, but we don't have the resource points yet. So what I was thinking, you know what, we've got a lot of time. We've got 9 days until the Vietnam Grand Prix, so we're going to wait then and get it at the end of the time that we have on our hands before the Vietnam Grand Prix. But now, as you can see, we're going to change the livery up here. So we've got a brand new livery here for the Vietnam Grand Prix, incorporating that wee bit more of white into our livery here. So much more white than was on the car before. Before it was just the sponsors. Now we've got a bit of white striping, and I like the black on the halo and the white on the chassis of the car. It's very nice when I'm driving it. I just kind of like that. But as you move on, you see you've got 9 days. So we're going to put that sponsor event in to get the team acclaim up here. It might cost a bit of money, but oh well, and get this durability equipment upgrade to get some resource points and make our durability team nice and happy, and then the driver promotion filming here to get our second driver acclaim up as we advance then onto the Vietnam Grand Prix here, and we get our resource points that we needed then by the end of the time. So look, as you can see, we've got 1130 now, so we are going to move back over to the R&D and purchase this upgrade. Despite this though, the durability upgrade that we were planning did fail, so you can see I had a slight hesitation to go and get that major fuel efficiency upgrade, but we went for it in the end. That will come in just before the Dutch Grand Prix. We won't have it for the Chinese or the Vietnamese, obviously, because we're just here now. So let's go dive straight into the Vietnam Grand Prix. Here we go then for the first flying lap around the Hanoi street circuit here, and I have to say off the bat that the car didn't feel that good around this track, and I was afraid that it was kind of going to be a damage limitation race here as I'm pushing so hard on the flying lap here, but I didn't really feel like we had the pace then moving into the chicane here. Braking a wee bit too late there and getting way over the curb there, hitting the wall with our back rear tyre, getting all out of sorts. We're pushing so hard. But then coming into this final section here, obviously still not happy with understeer in this car, and it was such a pain trying to get this. Spent so long in practice just trying to nail this section here, but as you can see I got it right here, and I have to tell you that it's the most satisfying feeling ever. You managed to slip that car through those ices perfectly, just right up against the wall here as we're pushing around the final corner here on the first flying lap, and it's going to be a decent lap here up into P5 on the road. But as we move on then to our second flying lap, pushing really hard again, going right to the edge of the track here to try and get the best racing line, trying to beat my lap from last lap. I'm pushing so hard here, we even go out the track limits here, and I get a warning, luckily, not a invalidated lap, which would have been quite awful there. So there's not much time left in the qualifying session, you can see only 4 minutes and 20 seconds. But moving on then down into the final sector again, we're 1/10 up here, so we're going to try and nail this again, try and make it even more here. So we're up to 3/10 here, then to 4/10 in this final sector, absolutely spot on here. But then through this last corner here, second last corner actually, to the weak kink. We lose a lot of time on the exit of that, pushing right to the edge, but we're going to come through, and it's going to be 3 tenths up in no time, so we move up from P18 only into P17 though, and that's where we're going to start the race from. So it's unlucky from us there, the only time we've been out qualified by a Lacey this season, so it's quite a poor showing from us then. We've been quite fast in qualifying, but I didn't feel it round Hanoi, I have to say here, but what a shame to start the race from P18.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. Are you happy with where you'll be on the grid tomorrow?
Don't really know why she said race there. Must have just been obviously the lines that she'd been given, but we're going to compliment our aerodynamics department here by this answer.
Why do you think you weren't as quick as your teammate today?
I'm not going to be really cocky and say I don't know how this happened. I'm just going to be honest and say I did make a few mistakes and they were just the more consistent driver.
Thank you for your time.
So Claire's obviously in a happier mood than when we talked to her last, but you know what, let's forget that interview and let's push on then to the Vietnamese Grand Prix.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more, as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? That was a great way to begin this race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Bottas, Norris, Ricciardo, Ocon, and Daniel Kvyat, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Carlos Sainz, and Raikkonen, Gasly, Perez, Giuliano Alesi, and the owner driver, Grosjean, Magnussen, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Here we go then for the Vietnamese Grand Prix on the F1 2020 game in our My Team career. But it is going to rain at the end, you might have seen there. So we're going to go from the soft to the hard instead of the medium. Hopefully that's going to be a better tyre on the wet here. But a wee bit of a gamble here on our strategy with the extra lap of fuel. But you know what, it's going to pay off hopefully. Go then to 5 red lights at the Vietnamese Grand Prix in 2020, and the lights are out and away we go, and it's a good start from us compared to Perez here. We're going to try and squeeze it down the inside, but he squeezes right against the wall. We have to check if we've got any wing damage. We don't, thankfully, as we send it down the inside on a very tight line again, just like in Bahrain, trying to tighten up at the apex, but it doesn't pay out again. As you can see, a Lacey there all the way up into P15 as we're going to be behind George Russell now. It's good. We make a wee bit of contact with the Brit as Grosjean then gets down our inside, and we kind of forget about that corner, but oh well, as we're going to push then down on this wee back straight here behind Grosjean and still in our starting position of P18, but Lacey's making some moves here and he's up ahead of breaking in there as we make a massive move on Grosjean there, massive dive bomb into the wee chicane before this really patient left-hander here has to be, but we get an awful exit compared to Russell, and now Gasly's behind us. He must have, he's overtaking Grosjean then down this main straight here. Absolutely insane how long this is. As we cut to this off-board here, there's yellow flags ahead as I believe Ocon made contact with someone, but we're going to send it down the inside of absolutely millions of people here. We get caught up with Giovinazzi here at the hairpin, but just managed to slow the car down in time, squeeze Giovinazzi out there, and we're all the way up into P13 now on lap 1. If of argy-bargy there then with Giovinazzi to make sure we keep that position, but Ocon, as you can see, is going very slowly with some damage. We catch all the way up to Kvyat in the final sector here with the last lap, as Vettel says, the fastest lap, but we get too much on the curb there. We mistake on the exit of the corner. Now we're just going to try and settle it in P12 now and try and focus on our own race, but onto lap 2 then. Giovinazzi is coming at her inside down into this tiny chicane here as there's yellow flags behind us, and we go very deep into the corner and just make the chicane here, pushing Giovinazzi quite aggressively out. But again, as you can see, lots of yellow flags and a wee bit on the curb on the exit. It's not going to help us, as you can see now on the top. George Russell is out of the session here, so I don't know what's happened to him, but he's out here as Giovinazzi is coming at me down my outside now on lap 2 for P13. He's going to get the job done as I'm side by side with Alesi and Raikkonen then, as Alesi makes a bit of contact with us and Raikkonen locks wheels with Giovinazzi, his teammate there, and we're side by side with Giovinazzi, drag race out of this chicane, and I'm going to squeeze him out down into sector 3 now, as Giovinazzi is still holding his position well up into P12 for him and P13 for me. But moving on to lap 4, we're just climbing onto the back of Giovinazzi for DRS, but a wee bit of contact there with Raikkonen as I'm going to be down the inside defensive for this chicane. We hop over the curb, bit too much on the curb, but that allows us to squeeze him out on the racing line then and keep our position for the time being. But then moving on to lap 6, it's happening again. I'm still on the end of Giovinazzi, but now Raikkonen's got a good run on me, but I think he takes himself out there. I'm not sure, I didn't manage to get replay cameras on that, but I think he just took himself out there a bit too much. Oversteer then, not enough grip with his DRS open, maybe. But on to lap 7 then, Perez out of his pit stop now, so the first top runners are having their pit stops as we go deep into the chicane again and try and get as good an exit as we can, holding onto the back of Giovinazzi, using a lot of ERS just to get that DRS, but I don't think we're going to get it this time as Perez now tries to run around the outside, but he hits me and we're in the wall. Absolutely ridiculous from there from Perez, as now Gasly takes the both of us now into the chicane, and Perez tries it around the outside, but then obviously a lot of front wing damage now, so very stupid from Perez there. His decision making was very, very questionable. And it's cost the pair of us now, as now going into the pits I'm going to have to change my front wing, and so's Perez, so he'll have to come in for a second pit stop here with a lot of damage to his front wing. But it does just show you the pace difference between us and the pink Mercedes here, as you know, last race in Bahrain we were fighting them all the way to the last lap, but obviously in this circuit here at Hammer we just don't have the pace. We're showing a true pace of the car right now as we get jumped by Grosjean in the pit phase now, as we have to change our front wing. It's a long pit stop, which is a shame. And then moving on to lap 8, not much happening now, as it's just kind of a race of attrition here, trying to get this rain to come as soon as possible so that we can get our race back on track, because these hards are not going to last well against these mediums, I'm telling you that, and this pace as well from our car. But moving on then to lap 10, it's getting dark, as you can see the clouds are very dark now as Perez sends it down the inside into the chicane. We try and go around the outside, but he hops over the curb, causing him to run wide, and there's absolutely no space for us to go there as he gets the traction out of the corner with those mediums compared to our hard compounds, and he's up into P17, so we're back down to our starting position then as we try it in the inside there into the braking zone, but it's not happening then as we're moving then on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. The rain still hasn't come, so the strategy gamble did not pay off one single bit. It's a very, very lonely race for us in the end, as we just try and urge the rain to come here, as we just ask for weather report. But then heading down into the chicane, at last the rain finally comes then, as you may be able to see it on my halo then, but too little too late for us. We're not able to make anything special happening on these hard tyres with only half a lap with the rain. But it's quite a shame here, because if the rain had come a couple of laps earlier, I feel like we could have got up the positions a wee bit with the hard compounds, but too little too late, as Max Verstappen wins the Vietnamese Grand Prix in 2020. But I still feel that It was worth the shot because we never knew what was going to happen, and the rain does actually get really heavy towards the end as forecasted, and we're so slow with a slap bang of oversteer there on the second final corner. But we'll come through to take P18 where we started, no position gain, no possession loss in the Vietnamese Grand Prix. Not the best of results, but you know what, it's a bit of a reality check for us. We've been finishing very high recently, so I think it was kind of needed as Carlos Sainz wins Driver of the Day, just, you know, as a reality check.
Here we are then, a fantastic Vietnam Grand Prix, and what a performance it was from our race winners today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
Drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So Max wins from Lewis from Valtteri in the Vietnamese Grand Prix, and a big reality check from us now as we're down in 18th and 20th respectively, me and Alessi. But you know what, we can't always win in this career mode, so I think that's a good, well needed reality check.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
Not really the question I was expecting after this race, but you know what, let's just compliment the team and get the acclaim nice and high.
Do you have any comments about the collisions?
As I mentioned previously, you never want to diss anyone in this section, you know. You always want to keep the morale of your team nice and high in these career mode sessions, so we're just going to go with a no comment. Nice to know that Claire's back to her good old ways then, being very grumpy at us. Here we are then with all the team acclaim there. As you can see, my driver team acclaim has gone up to level 3 and Alessi's is very close to level 5 now, as our team is up quite close to level 5 as well now, so that's pretty good to see that developing as we get our novice sponsor role with 272,000, but we don't get any money from me then as my damage deductions are too much. Anyway guys, thank you for watching another That Car Dude video, and until next time, see ya!